I am very happy and honored to have this conversation with one of the women that I admire most. She's definitely a woman in charge. She's a woman who took her destiny in her hands, and after a terrible, terrible thing that happened to her, and not only she took it over for herself, but she, used her experience and her incredible survival qualities for others. So, Susan, it's so exciting to welcome you today. You and I met. Because you received in what year? 2016. What year? You received the DVF Inspirational Award.
Was it 2018?
2018. All right. And I remember before the award, you came to my office and we had a group of all of us people all of the people who were winning, and you were such a star. You came in and you had so much strength and sense of humor, and because you're someone who took, the terrible thing. Well, let's start with that. Tell us, unfortunately, what happened to your child.
Yeah, so Dion, I was born into a life of hardship. And I learned
Where
to
were you born?
I was born in Los Angeles in a housing project called Aliso Village. And just a lot of things happened as a child, as a young woman. Just so much trauma, so much pain, so much disappointment. But then my son was accidentally killed by an LAPD detective. And
At the age? At the age?
at the age of 5, his name was KK. His name was Mark, and we called him KK. And he was the love of my life. He was my son, rambunctious, energetic little boy running around, and one day he was just gone. And
How old were you?
I was 30, and I could not hold any more pain, and my life just crumbled. I went into this dark place and began to drink, and I drank alcoholically. I drank to drown the grief. It escalated to drug use, and for the drug use, I was imprisoned. You know, I, I could have and should have been offered help at some point, but I was never offered help. I was criminalized and caged, and that happened over and over again until someone helped me. And with that help,
How long were you in jail?
I was in jail 6 times
Wow.
over a 16-year period, and there was often, a window, a door, an opportunity for me to receive help, but I didn't get that type of investment. I got shipped to prison. I got treated like an animal. I got caged, and I got more harmed. But then someone did help me, Dion. Someone did give me the tools and the understanding of how to take care of myself and how to heal. So, with that help,
What was that moment? What was that turning moment in your life?
so there was a moment when I knew I could not continue um, like I was living. I
You
could
hit
not.
bottom.
Yeah, I hit bottom, and I reached out to this place in Santa Monica, out by the beach, and they took me in, and in that moment, I surrendered and committed to live my best life, to find myself. And also what I recognized there is that people weren't treated the way I was treated for my drug use. They received help instead of being criminalized. And I thought, oh my God, what a different world. You know, what a different world. In the book, I write a chapter about the tale of two cities. There was the city of South LA and there was the city of Santa Monica, which was so different. But I took that help and I thought about how I can help other women like me.
Let me ask you a question, because I think one of the things that is the most inspiring thing is always to hear about the challenges. When did you have the courage to ring that bell or to call in? When did how did that happen, that you went from South LA and you found that place? What was that moment? Because it really clearly had to do with you and you.
Yeah, the moment where I knew I had to sort of take a leap was when I confronted some of the people who were close to me in my family with some of the harms that I had endured. And I wanted those people to be the people that helped me through, but I realized they weren't capable of helping me through. And I had to disconnect myself and find a new path that they had no intention or no ability to be that person that rescued me. I had to rescue myself.
So it's really about, obviously, that what I always say is that, being in charge is really the first step of that is the commitment you do with yourself.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you went in and you got help. And
Yes.
then there was the transformation.
There was a transformation. There was an awakening. And there was some anger too, that there could have been and should have been something different. And if I could not, I could, and I realized I could not turn back the hands of time. I could not redo and undo all that had transpired in my life, but I could help another person.
That's right.
Another woman. And I couldn't bring my child back, but I could help another woman to get her child back. And so I set out to recreate the supportive, loving, kind, and resourced environment that I experienced in Santa Monica and South LA. Yeah, so I took what I experienced and what was invested in me, and I replicated it, and duplicated it to fit that community, that city, right down the 10 freeway.
Right. So you basically created a community.
Yes.
Because someone told me this year something that I love. When you create a community, you get power. When you lose your community, you lose power.
Yes. That is so true. People have asked me, how do I keep going? How do I keep working? How do I stand up against such tremendous odds? And it's community. It's not just me. it's me with everyone around me, and we're working together. We're holding each other accountable. We're supporting one another. We're standing together. So it's not just me; it's us.
So tell us what you created.
So I created a new way of life, reentry project. I had found a new way of life, and so I created a not-for-profit called A New Way of Life. I got a little house, a little bungalow in South LA, right on the border of Watts, and I put beds in that little house, and I would go down to the bus station where my friends were getting off the bus uh,
From jail.
from prison, and I would greet them and say, "I have a safe place if you'd like to come." And before you knew it, it was a robust community of women helping women to recover, to reestablish their lives, rebuild resources. And I can remember, I slept in the dining room, and I gave the bedrooms to the women. And I remember the laughter. I remember the tears. I remember the victories. I remember the failures of this community of women who had who had who had finally landed somewhere that they could just, rise to their lives, to opportunity, and rise to challenges. It was beautiful. So from that day to this day, Dion,
Whatever.
we have really thrived. Over 1,200 women have
Wow.
came into the homes. Now we have 9 homes. Over 300 children have been reunited with their moms there. And the children, I come in the house and they just run to me. And they realize, I think they know that they're so grateful to be with their moms, and they know, kind of like, because of Miss Burton, we're with our mama now.
Oh.
And I spoke with Tatiana last week.
Tatiana is my daughter,
Yes.
and so for those who don't know, my daughter is very involved and very touched by the women I mean LGBT community incarcerated, and she has actually collected art, and she has a website called On the Inside, and and she did that completely quietly without taking any, letting anyone know, but she has given a voice to these incarcerated people, and by buying their art and showing it. So I thought it was important when I met you that you met Tatiana, and
Yes.
then
Yeah, so I met Tatiana, and we went to one of her art shows and had talks with formerly incarcerated women, and have stayed in touch. And she contacted me last week, and I'm going to go out and look at a site that she has, a property that she owns, that she's going to lend to us to
great.
house women in. So that was just beautiful. I have to make an appointment and go over and see it. But she reached out to me through our website and said, I want to help. I have a property, and if you manage it, you can get it. So that's just so admirable and so beautiful, and we're grateful and thankful for that. And I met her through you at the award show, um, and that's more community.
That's right. That's right. That's what I call the chain of love. The first thing you have to do is you have to try to love yourself, which
Yeah.
sometimes is very difficult, because when you are in a position of such injustice that your child was killed, I mean, how do you deal with that? Obviously, um, but then one day, as you were in dark and you went incarcerated for so many times, one day you just say, enough, enough.
Yeah.
I got to take care of myself. And the day you made that commitment, the day you made that commitment, the day you found strength in yourself, then you were able to share that with others, and share that with others by sharing your difficulty, by sharing your agony, by sharing. But you gave a hand, but when you give a hand, really what you also give, you give people a hand, but you give them a mirror, because it's inside them that they find the strength, and then sometimes it's so hard, because you think, oh my God, there are millions of people, how can I help everyone? But the truth is that if you have one life, you have a dynasty behind. And imagine you've already helped 1,200 individuals. Each one of these individuals has children, family, and each one of this, because they were given that opportunity, will themselves give that opportunity. And therefore, what you do with give yourself another chance. No, what is it called? A new way of life, which is such a beautiful. What you do with a new way of life is you have created a chain of love.
Yes. 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 It has this chain of love just ripples out into the world. And we show people how to be kind in the world, helpful in the world, and let them know that their life matters. And we could be daunted by looking at how much there is to do and how big the need is in the world. But when we break that down to what's right in front of us, then I find it manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to always encourage people by not looking at the being overwhelmed, but being we can always do right what's in front of us. And what I found is that there's so much joy and happiness and purpose that I find that my life gets much bigger than me.
It's beautiful. So, Susan, people, you wrote a very, very beautiful book that I know you've handed a lot of copies to the women in jail. So remind us what the name of your book is. Remind us of the name of your organization, so that people who will watch this may want to help, and how they can help.
Yeah. The name of the book is called Becoming Miss Burton. And it is a memoir that talks about my journey, my life's journey, and the victory of finding yourself and owning your power and being in charge and not stopping no matter what.
And
And
it has a lot of humor.
it has some humor. It's a roller coaster and it's a page turner.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
because you are like that. You have humor. You're a badass. Yeah. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
good. It's
Yes.
good. I mean, that doesn't mean that, you have the humanity. But the more, I think that today, after the coronavirus and all these things that are happening, the more we can bring the humanity out of ourselves. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's weak, but it's the humanity inside of us that shows us that we are human beings, and
Yes.
it's the humanity that can link us together.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, seeing one another's, your humanity and other people's humanity. So the name of the organization is A New Way of Life Reentry Project. And it helps people, helps women come home, provides them with housing, support, reunification, and we also provide some leadership development so people, women can develop their leadership and be in charge and take control of their lives and their destiny. And we also provide some legal services to
So
help.
what do you need? What do you need? You need contribution?
Yes, we need contributions. We've just been given a space that used to be a convent, uh,
Oh,
and that we're about to open it up. So that will be the 10th place, and then we're gonna go to Tatiana's place and help people. There'll be some independent living there. So we need resources to get those places up and ready, make them inspirational, safe, vibrant, colorful for women to rebuild their lives in.
very nice. So what have you learned from this Corona moment and from all of the things that are happening, from the anger and violence, but then at the same time, this engagement and this youth engagement? Um, I mean, what is the proportion of you worrying and being depressed and being excited and seeing the light?
So I've learned that it's been reinforced that we don't stop. We get creative. So I've learned a lot of creativity of how to get things done still in the midst of a corona virus, a pandemic. Um, we even opened another house during
In the
the
middle of it.
in the midst of the pandemic. We did everything online. We ordered the furniture online. We found the site online. We paid for it online. We did all of these things in the midst of a pandemic in order to ensure that women would have a place to go when they were released. So our governor released a lot of people out of the prison. I didn't want to see, while I can't help everybody, I could help those 8 women who are living in that house right now. And somebody else can help 8 women or 1 woman or 2 women.
And how do you pick them?
Um, so I don't have the luxury of picking as long as they can take care of themselves, as long as they can do their hair and be independent. I let them come. So I don't pick or choose. The universe sends me, and I accept it with all the challenges, right? That people come with. I accept it and say this is right. This is what I need to do. So I don't pick and choose. Um, I want to help whoever
No, but
desires.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean pick it in the wrong way. I
Okay.
mean, but when I say that, it means you cannot take more than you can
Yes.
have. So
Yes.
how do you what is the line that you say, I'm sorry?
Manage all of the different people that need all the different women. So I get as many, I help as many as I have bed space for. But then this is about community again. There are a community of people and organizations that I'm connected to. And if I don't have enough space, I find someone that does have space.
I see.
Uh, so
So they are, so in other words, with you doing those centers, they you have inspired others to do the same.
Yes, I'm not only inspired, I've developed a training that
Great,
trains people to replicate our model. And
great.
Dion, now we're in 15 states that
Wow.
we've trained people to replicate our model, to understand our philosophy, and supported them to open up houses, because this is not just a Los Angeles problem.
Of course.
1.9 million women are released from prisons and jails across this nation every year. And many of them were just like me. They didn't have a safe place to come home to. So when we talk about the chain of love and the ripple effect, um, I've again inspired, but now I'm intentionally training people to replicate our model.
Well, that's wonderful. I hope many people will see this and many people can come to you and help this, because your strength and you see, and it came from your own experience, your own suffering, your own feeling of abandonment and not belonging, until the day you said, okay, I belong to myself and I am going to save myself. And
Yes.
by saving yourself, you had the strength, the inspiration, and the power to help others. And I think that is the message. I mean, that's the message of the DVF Award is, to have the strength to fight, the courage to survive, and the leadership to inspire. And you have all of that. And you are absolutely a person that is so admirable that I hope that, people will watch this and be inspired and be able to help you. So, do you ever get discouraged?
No, I don't get discouraged. Um, there's so much to live for, and there's so much to show up for. Um, I try to always stay in a place of gratitude. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
There is no other way to do it. It's
yes,
crazy. Everybody ends up saying the same thing
yes,
by
yeah,
saying thank you.
yeah, and so gratitude, you know, uh, uh, keeps me, I guess, what you say, with the level of humility and thankfulness that keeps me going. Deanna, I want to acknowledge and thank you for recognizing me with the DVF award. And I've never been to such a beautiful ceremony. It was absolutely stunning and
It was
amazing.
your year was at the UN or the Brooklyn Academy, the
The,
Brooklyn
the
Museum.
Brooklyn Museum, it was transformed into, oh, it was so beautiful and inspirational. But beyond that, the work that you do and this in charge and the support that you extended to a new way of life to help women to find themselves, to support them, to know who they are. So I just want to stop and take a moment and say thank you so much for all that you do. And
And it's also exposure, because if I
exposure,
recall
yes.
correctly, you got the CNN hero after that.
I got the CNN Heroes Award. Yes, yes,
And so to do this award is, yes, to contribute financially, but also to give exposure,
yes,
and to give exposure to people who are not known at all. And
yes,
that's why inside of the award, I also pick people who are very well known. Like I believe Kate Perry got the award when you were
Yes.
there. She got the inspirational award because she brings exposure. And
Yes.
Anita Hill got the
Yes.
big award. And
Yes.
Anita Hill is, oh my God, she's the most inspiring person on the universe.
Yes.
And
Yes.
like you, she dealt with so much, but she's always positive. She has humor. She is fun, and she will never be a victim. And I think that's what I learned from my mother, who was also incarcerated during the war for 13 months, is that no matter what, don't be a victim.
I read your book. So you have a book too, a memoir, and it talked about your mother, and it talked about you and her being captive, and so I just want to acknowledge and shout out your book too. It was a good read, very good read, page turner, and
Right.
and the struggle that you went through and how you rose also. So kudos and hands up to you.
But
Yes.
you know, it's not the thing that I think is important to know is that even when you are successful and people think you are at the top, you may not be at the top. People may think that, but
Yeah.
you know that you are encountering big difficulties. And the
Yes.
same way, sometimes you are at the bottom and people think, oh, she's nothing. And that may not be true either. So I
Yes.
think that what I think is now that I'm an older woman, what I try to do is to use my voice, my experience, my knowledge, my connection in order to help other women and to create this chain of love. And you are an incredible example, Susan. I respect you, I admire you, I love you, I am your friend. I am glad that now my daughter is your friend. We will put your organization on the thing so that people can help you and continue to use your magic wand, because you have a magic wand. And the more you use your magic wand, the more powerful your magic wand is.
Yes. Thank you. And you too. You are giving so much back in so many ways. And this right here is just one example. I don't know what you do all day, every day, and how and who it reaches, but I know that you are doing so much and that it is bringing power and strength to women and others across the nation, across the world. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Diane, for this time. And you know, back in the day, in my heydays, when I was a younger woman, I used to wear your jeans. Uh,
You
you know,
told me that.
yeah, and even though I was going through difficulties, those jeans helped me to feel good. And then
Oh,
at the award show, I wore your fashion, and it still helped me to feel good. So all of these things are contributions in ways that I guess we can't even begin to measure, but they're happening, and I just want to acknowledge that and acknowledge you for that, and say thank you
well, I
so
thank
much.
you because you are a magician and you are helping so many thousands of women who come out of jail who have no place to go, and you're giving them shelter, you're giving them love, you're giving them support, and more important than anything else, you're giving them the power to trust themselves. So
Yes,
thank you very much, Susan. I love you. I hope to see you very soon.
yes,
Bye.
thank you. Bye bye.